الحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وصحابته ومن والاه. What is the number of the hadith? The 36th hadith, which is hadith Abu Hurairah: من نفس عن مسلم من نفس عن مؤمن كربة من نفس عن مؤمن كربة من كرب الدنيا نفس الله عنه كربة من كرب الآخرة، ومن يسر على معسر يسر الله عليه، ومن يسر على معسر في الدنيا يسر الله عليه في الدنيا والآخرة، ومن ستر مؤمنا في الدنيا ستر الله عليه في الدنيا والآخرة، والله في عون العبد ما كان العبد في عون أخيه، ومن سلك طريقا يلتمس فيه علما سهل الله له به طريقا إلى الجنة، وما جلس قوم في بيت من بيوت الله يتلون كتاب الله ويتدارسونه بينهم إلا نزلت عليهم السكينة وغشيتهم الرحمة وحفتهم الملائكة وذكرهم الله بمن عنده. This is reported by Sahih Muslim or in Sahih Muslim, not by Sahih, in Sahih Muslim. هذا يا إخوة, it is reported by الأعمش عن أبي صالح عن أبي هريرة. This is how Muslim رحمه الله reported, but he was criticized heavily because his illah had so easy to navigate. يعني you can't make it in a Sahih. Why? Because Asbat ibn Muhammad reported it from Al-A'mash saying, Hadeeth, I was told that Abu Salih said, that Abu Hurairah said, then he reported it. فهذا الحديث يعني it is disconnected. والأعمش يقول حدثت هو أصلا معروف بالتدليس رحمه الله. Clear? So therefore هذا الحديث is weak يعني to the standard of هذا الحديث هذا weak. ولهذا مسلم رحمه الله he was heavily criticized like الدارقطني and others. He said that يعني definitely this is not in a صحيح. ولهذا فإن الترمذي is not that strict رحمه الله. He said that the correct narration is the narration of Asbat ibn Muhammad. Okay? يعني where الأعمش said حدثت, I am told, or I was told that Abu Salih said, that Abu Hurairah said. طيب, however عندنا في الصحيحين هذا الحديث reported from عبد الله بن عمر يعني some of its sentences, some of its statements. يعني the majority of its statements actually are reported by authentic hadiths. But this statement to come together from Abu Hurairah هذا ضعيف حتى لو كان في مسلم. ولهذا we say that the majority in that which is in Bukhari and Muslim is what? Authentic. Okay, the majority of it, the vast majority. There are some disputed, there are some heavily disputed, there are some يعني almost agreed that they are not to be put in a Sahih. Okay? He ﷺ said, من نفس عن مؤمن كربة من كرب الدنيا نفس الله عنه كربة من كرب الآخرة. He says ﷺ من نفس. How do you translate من نفس? من نفس, look, let's begin يعني this way. الكربة, it's a great calamity. هي الشدة العظيمة. So what is kurba in the Arabic language? Do you have the translation?
Worldly grief.
Huh?
Worldly grief.
Worldly grief. Okay.
Distress.
لا distress يعني lighter word. لا, kurba is shidda. يعني calamity. يعني you go through big trouble. You're in trouble. It's like if I say to you, how are you? You say, I'm bad. Okay, يعني أنتم تقولون I am bad. Okay, anguished. Yes, anguished. هذا هو معنى الكربة. So صلى الله عليه وسلم said من نفس عن مؤمن كربة. بحديث عبد الله بن عمر في الصحيحين من فرج عن مؤمن كربة. What is التنفيس? التنفيس, imagine a person who is يعني choked by a rope. If you remove it, if you untie it a little bit, this is called what? تنفيس. You make him take نفس هكذا. هذا يسمى التنفيس. من نفس. التفريج meaning you untie it all, you take it all. هذا يسمى التفريج. So he صلى الله عليه وسلم said من نفس عن مؤمن كربة. Even if you just make him breathe, meaning you reduce the calamity, the severity. Even if you don't remove it completely. If he goes through this difficulty, it could be financial, it could be psychological, it could be, familial, people go through calamities. Not necessarily everybody will go through calamity. People will go through difficulties. This is, nature of life. Even if you are the richest person, the strongest person, life must have difficulties. But not everybody will go through شدة عظيمة. He will go through difficulty. Not difficulty, calamity, catastrophe. هذا الكرب, like what is happening to our brothers in مثلا غزة هنا. هذا it's not a lot of people won't go through this. ولهذا now you find some people that they go to the psychiatrist after what happened to the brothers in Gaza. What do? They didn't go. They say we just because I have my girlfriend didn't respond to me back. So we're joking. This is a very هذا هو معنى الكرب. They are going through trouble. It's a calamity. Not everybody will go through karb, but everybody will go through difficulty, عسر. This part of life. Not everybody will go with the calamity. مثلا الآن أنتم, do you remember that you went through a trouble? أنتم الآن a trouble. Not you are in debt. هذا يسمى المعسر. Or مثلا you have disputes with your wife. هذه هذه سنة الله. And by the way, some people they say that this is سنة الحياة. لا, it's better to say سنة الله. ما تقول هذه سنة الحياة, تقول سنة الله. You don't say that this is the habit of life. لا, what do you say? سنة الله, as Allah says, سنة الله التي قد خلت من قبل, سنة الله التي قد خلت في عباده. So it is سنة الله. You don't say سنة الحياة. Anyways, الآن anybody here remembers trouble, calamity, catastrophe? ما فيش بحمد الله. لكن everybody goes through difficulty, hardship. This هذه سنة الله في خلقه. الله عز وجل جعل الحياة كذلك. ولهذا يقول القائل: طبعت على كدر وأنت تريدها صفوا من الأقداء والأكدار ومكلف الأيام ضد طباعها متطلب في الماء جذوة نار. He says that this life طبعت, it's nature على كدر, that it's not pure. Okay? طبعت على كدر, and you want it to be completely pure from every hardship, from every difficulty. You are like asking to have water in the middle of fire. This is not the nature. This is how Allah Azza wa Jalla created life. If you would like full comfort, where is it going to be? In Jannah. Full miserableness, where is it going to be? In Jahannam. But this life has mix. Okay? In order not to be attached to it. Because there is an afterlife. This is not it. And this is very short life. Very short. Even if you live for how long? Like the age of Noah. Short, as opposed to the hereafter. You're going to live eternally, either in the hereafter, either in the hellfire, or in the Jannah. فإذن but for kurba, calamity, catastrophe, that not everybody will go through. ولهذا what did he صلى الله عليه وسلم say? من نفس عن مؤمن كربة من كرب الدنيا نفس الله عنه كربة من كرب يوم القيامة. So what did he say? That Allah Azza wa Jal, if you help your brother going through this calamity, you're going to be with him. Reduce it, or by Hadeeth ibn Umar, you remove it completely. Allah Azza wa Jal will give you the same. لأن الله يقول هل جزاء الإحسان إلا الإحسان. What do they call it here? Karma. You know karma? They got karma. If you do things, it will reflect. Yeah, they take it from Hinduism, and Hinduism from where they took it, from Shintoism. Okay, it's from Shintoism. It's a Chinese philosophy, because there are Eastern philosophy and Western philosophy. ف فهل جزاء الإحسان إلا الإحسان. And look what he said. He said من نفس عن مؤمن كربة من كرب الدنيا. He didn't say نفس الله عنه كربة من كرب الدنيا والآخرة. But when he says من يسر على مسلم يسر الله عليه في الدنيا والآخرة, ومن ستر مسلما ستر الله عليه في الدنيا والآخرة. But for الكرب, for this calamity, he didn't say he will make it in this life and the hereafter. يعني he will reward him the same in this life and the hereafter. Why? Because of two reasons. First, as we have just mentioned, not everybody will go through calamity. Everybody will go through hardship, difficulty, but not everybody will go through calamity. Secondly, the calamities on the day of judgment compared to the calamities here, they are just nothing. They're just nothing. ولهذا he will be fully reported on the day of judgment. Okay? And then he said ومن يسر على معسر يسر الله في الدنيا ومن يسر على مسلم يسر الله عليه في الدنيا والآخرة. على معسر يسر الله عليه في الدنيا والآخرة. The one who will. First of all, who is al-mu'sir? Look here, in the jurisprudentially, we have two types of people who don't have money after they had money. We have people whom we call muflis. Another type we call it mu'sir. Now, what is al-muflis? Is the insolvent, the one who is insolvent, you call it. What is al-mu'sir? The bankrupt, the one who goes bankrupt. Now, what's the definition of both? The one who is insolvent, it means that his income is less than his expenses. من كان خراجه أقل من ضمانه يقول. يعني the one who, his income less than his expenses. So let's suppose that his income is مثلا 40,000 yearly, but his expenses is مثلا 60,000. We call that person what? Insolvent. هذا مفلس. The other one is called mu'sir, bankrupt. That one does not have income. It does not have income. Okay? The Prophet ﷺ said, من يسر على معسر, the one who is bankrupt. Okay? من يسر عليه. يعني make it what? Easy for him. In what way? Because he is going to be liable to you in debt. And then you make it easy on him. In what way? If he is mu'sir, then it's a must upon you to give him what? A grace period. It's a must. قال الله تعالى وإن كان ذو عسرة فنظرة إلى ميسرة, until he has. So if a person does not have income, you can't say, okay, we're going to imprison you. ما يمكن. هذا واضح؟ إذا كان معسرا. If a person does not have income, then the creditor can't force the debtor to pay the debt. واضح? However, he is required to do what? To try his best to afford it. ولهذا عليه أن يعمل. And the government has the complete role to find him a job so that he will pay his debts. Like if he cannot, we have an entire category in a zakah to pay for al-gharimin, the debtor. We take it from it and we pay it. ولهذا the government will pay it. From where? From a zakah. The zakah will pay it for the debtors. وعليكم السلام ورحمة الله وبركاته. نتم إلى 10 إن شاء الله. Okay, so the creditor must give the bankrupt what? A grace period. It's a must. طيب, there is another now. How does he make it easy? What he has that يعني we have 3 ways. There are 3 ways where the debt is going to be reduced, or the bankruptcy is going to be either reduced or removed. The creditor will say, I will reduce the amount. Okay? So instead of paying me, مثلا, he owes to him مثلا 50,000. He said, okay, I will make it 40,000. طيب. Another way, he will just drop it. He'll say, في سبيل الله, for the sake of Allah. Go. A third way is what? That another person will help the creditor, will give him the money, will pay him, will pay the debt. Either that he will pay it in full or some of it. Okay? طيب يا إخوان, there is a مسألة here. Is it allowed for the creditor to say to the debtor, if you paid within, مثلا, the day of maturity is 4 months, in about 4 months, he said, okay, look, if you pay it within 2 months, instead of being 60,000, I will make it 40,000. هذه المسألة تسمى مسألة ضع وتعجل، أو الصلح عن الدين حالا، الصلح عن الدين مؤجلا ببعضه حالا. مسألة ضع وتعجل. Do you understand? Do you understand the issue? Is it allowed? Or this is a usurious transaction? What? Same. Seems like. Yeah. Why? The sisters can participate because we want them to engage.
Because we use for if you paid earlier, you're reducing the amount, right?
Right.
It seems like I cannot.
Where is the interest? Now, what is a riba, ya ikhwan?
Pays earlier.
What is a riba?
Riba is any unjust transaction.
Because of the amount, because the time period increases, then the amount increases. The less the amount, the less the interest, the usury. طيب, يلا, we give you a key. So it used to be 60,000, 4 months. 40,000 in 2 months.
It's not a fixed amount. The amount is not fixed. It's not a set amount.
So, but he is noticing the time. So now what's the difference between me saying to you, if you don't pay it within 4 months, you can pay it after with addition of $3,000. What's the difference between this scenario and saying to you that instead of paying me within 4 months, you can pay me within 2 months and I will reduce the amount?
The difference is the 60,000 is what he actually owes initially.
So
This would be the other scenario is adding onto his debt. This one, the first scenario is he owes 60,000.
but I'm noticing the time. I'm capitalizing on the time. Is it still usurious or not? No. Yellow.
I think it's not. I think it's the opposite. It's less money before the due date. Maybe to encourage him. The due date's still 4 months from now, but if you pay within 2 months, you pay less.
Yeah, to encourage him and not reckoning the time. You're considering the time, right? You're not saying that I will encourage you because I will, get you a job with me. You're noticing the time. So, no, he's not, he's not oppressing himself. Because he's saying that now, if he says to you that I will pay you now, 40,000, but within 4 months I will pay you 60,000. Saying 40 now, I get them now. 60,000 I didn't know.
I think you're trying to make it easy on me, just on your part.
Okay.
It won't be nice, easy on you. That's why I'm knocking down the price to 40. So I'm motivating you to be, to work hard to pay me my debt, but yet I'm helping you to do this. That's what I'm saying.
Look here, yes, the last attempt.
Is this optional, or are you saying is he given the option to look?
Yes, he's giving him the option. He says that if you'd like me to reduce the debt, that you will pay me now. Or it's even if it's offered by the debtor. He's saying to him, I will pay 40 now. Huh? Now look here with the majority of the ulama. They say that this is not allowed. They would consider it to be usurious. Okay? يقول مثلا ضع وتعجل الصلح عن الدين حالا ببعضه الصلح عن الدين مؤجلا ببعضه حالا. هذا لا يجوز. هذا يكون ربا. لكن the preponderant opinion is what? Actually this is the opinion of the four madhahib. The four madhahib, they consider it to be haram. يقولون هذا عكس الربا. Why? Because they are always noticing the time. The interest is added because of what? Because of the time. Yani why do they charge you interest when they lend you? Because you're gonna pay it back. You're gonna pay me back. Because of this time, I'm investing in the time. Okay? So in order to invest in the time, my profit is going to be the interest. That's the philosophy. That's the theory behind it. So they say, okay, so therefore now you have that. So he is in a state of charging him more on the interest, more on the capital. Noticing the time, he's charging him on the capital, noticing on the time. But instead of adding it to the capital, he's reducing it from the capital. So it's like if he is not actually lending you 60,000. Like he has already lended you what? Or lent you 40,000. And he is getting a profit of almost 25%. Okay? He's charging you the interest. Okay? This is how they theorize it. لكن الصحيح, the majority, the opinion is that, which is the opinion of Sufyan ibn Uyayna and others, and it's chosen by Ibn Taymiyyah, أن ضع وتعجل يجوز. We have narration evidence for it. We have narration evidence as well as reasonable evidence. Now for the narration evidence, we have that Banu Qurayza, Banu Nadir, they were given that they had a lot of debts to the Prophet ﷺ. So the Prophet ﷺ, as you know, asked them, after what they did, asked them to leave to Sham. They went to Adri'at, the Awwal al-Hajj. They had a lot of debts to the Prophet ﷺ and they didn't have it. They didn't have enough. So what they did, they came to the Prophet ﷺ. They said, Muhammad, if you allow us to reduce the amount of the debt, we're going to pay it now. So he sallallahu alayhi wa sallam قال لهم ضعوا وتعجلوا. Yes, we're going to make it less and we're going to allow you to do it. طبعا the majority, if they hear the hadith, for them is what? ضعيف هذا الحديث لا يقبلون به. لكن it is enhancing. Also لأن سفيان بن عيينة رواه على وجه صحيح. But we don't know, we need to finish. But reasonably, to justify it reasonably, we say that what is a riba? Because you alluded all to this fact. What is a riba? A riba was ziyada. That's why we don't call it al-fa'ida al-ribawiyya in the Arabic language. It's better put لأن نحن نسمي الانترست نسميها الفائدة العربية. That's why it is easy to manipulate people because you change terminology. Because what is a riba? A riba was ziyada. A riba in the Arabic language is what? A ziyada. Here, the capital does not increase. Yes, the time period is noticed, but we don't have any addition in what? In the capital. والربا هو الزيادة على رأس المال مراعاة لاعتبار الوقت. So if there is no noticing for the time where there is increase on the capital, whereby you can charge on the capital addition, then this is not riba. A riba is only in the addition, not in the subtraction. If you subtract the capital, even for the benefit of you, you're not adding on the capital. الشريعة تحرم الزيادة على رأس المال باعتبار الوقت إذا نظرت إلى الوقت. So since there is no addition, even if there is time, definitely he's benefiting from the time, but he's not adding to the capital. Yes, he will get 40,000 immediately on the spot, but there is no addition to the original capital. Okay, what they call the principal. There is no addition to it. ما في. There is no addition. If there is no addition, it means that there is no riba. ولهذا الله تعالى يقول ما أتيتم من ربا ليربو ليزيد في أموال الناس. فهذا هو معنى الربا. ولهذا he صلى الله عليه وسلم said في حديث عبادة بن الصامت, he said فمن زاد أو استزاد فقد أربى. The one, هذا في صحيح مسلم, he said the one who added or asked addition فقد أربى, then he is doing riba. In this case, does he add? Does he ask for addition? So therefore, can we say فقد أربى? So then he is not doing riba. ولهذا ضع وتعجل الصحيح جوازه. يجوز مسألة ضع وتعجل. ولهذا it is going to be included in what? من يسر على معسر. Because some ulama, they don't consider it to be included. So therefore, if you say to a person, I will reduce the amount, but you pay it now, you are included in the statement of the Prophet ﷺ saying, وَمَنْ يَسَّرَ عَلَى مُعْسِرٍ فِي الدُّنْيا يَسَّرَ اللَّهُ عَلَيْهِ فِي الدُّنْيا وَالْآخِرَةِ. He said, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he will make, Allah Azza will make things easy for him in this life and in the hereafter. He didn't, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, only say on the hereafter. Why? Because everybody will go through difficulty, عسر hardship, difficulty. Everybody will go through this. فإذا, this is the reward of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. In exchange of what you did, Allah Azza will return it to you the same. And it's even better. Not only in this life, but also in the hereafter. Should we take the last sentence or stop here? Let's stop here, inshallah. We're going to begin in the following tomorrow بعون الله تعالى وتيسيره. وفق الله الجميع. إذا كان من سؤال وإلا فإننا نذهب. As for this concerning the sisters, if they want a way of communication بمعنى عند الله, they find مثلا a group or something where they can participate. In person, those who are attending here or online, حتى to engage, so that they can think and answer. So this is going to be a training for them. بعون الله تعالى وتيسيره. Are we all set up? Yes. تفضل يا طلحة.
It's not talking, but the person was Muslim, became Muslim, but he was buried as a Christian. People that buried him didn't know he was Muslim. He was in a Christian grave. Can people pray janazah upon him? Janazah is not prayed on him. Can other people pray janazah upon him?
نعم. The majority of the ulama, they say that ننبش قبره. We take him out. Okay, we take him out if we are able to do so. إذا كان طريا نقول قبل يتلف, if he is still the meat fresh, then we can take him out. يسمى النبش. ننبش قبره وأن ندفنه, and then we go and bury him in the Muslim graveyards. But if we are not able to do so, then we can pray janazah, and you don't need to go to a qabr. Okay? Yani if nobody prayed on him, we can pray Salat al-Ghaib as he sallallahu did on Najashi on our masjid. Hina. Yes.
Regarding the word luck, is it less room to use the word luck?
Luck. هنا يعني هذا من الحظ كما قال الله تعالى وقالوا ربنا عجل لنا قطنا يعني حظنا. So you can say this is my luck يعني هذا حظي هذا نصيبي هذا ما قسمه الله لي. الحظ it means your share. This is what Allah Azza wa Jal gave you as share. لكن يعني it's more يعني better to say هذا من نصيبي من الله. هذا نصيبي من الله. This is my luck from Allah.
It's not the way it's derived from a different path in English.
ولهذا يعني again if you say that this is my luck like يعني it's a gambling and it just happened okay يعني like coincidentally or accidentally if you intended this way لا. But if you say that this is my luck يعني this is what Allah Azza wa Jal predestined for me what Allah pre-decreed for me هذا لا حرج فيه. Say that this is my مثلا a person will say to his wife you are my luck you are my نصيب. Okay مثلا I'm a lucky person يعني هذا من توفيق الله لي. نعم. Yes.
So this part, the needy person going to someone who's bankrupt, you say that someone who's bankrupt is the...
أي نعم. If the person who is bankrupt then he must be given a grace period.
No, I mean...
المؤسر here is only bankrupt.
أي نعم.
المؤسر is
إيه هذا هو المؤسر.
So not insolvent.
But for the person who is insolvent that now what do we do with him? He must be bailed. In what way? We're gonna sell the unnecessary things. مثلا his car. We're gonna sell his car. We're gonna sell unneeded furniture.
Asset recovery.
Huh?
Asset.
أي مثلا asset recovery. Yes. يعني to use the language you are used to. And then we're gonna keep for him the necessities to live. As he ﷺ did with who? Mu'adh bin Jabal. Mu'adh radiallahu anhu went insolvent, was insolvent. So everything was sold, basically. And then he didn't have anything. So what happened? The Prophet ﷺ sent him to Yemen to work. Then he, bihamdillah, became rich. But تقريبا all of his assets were sold. كله ما بقي عنده إلا ثيابه. ولهذا if you go insolvent, if you are insolvent, meaning that your income is less than your expenses, then we're gonna sell all the unnecessary things, even the needed things, and we're gonna keep only the necessary things. But look, this is only if the creditors want, if they demand. And if you go insolvent, by the way, إذا أفلست, if someone مثلا he gives you you borrow from him مثلا $500, and that person finds these $500 exactly, he can take them. Okay? ولهذا النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم يقول من وجد, هذا مالك رحمه الله used not to opine, لكن عندنا حديث في الصحيحين حديث أبي هريرة النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم قال من وجد ماله بعينه عند رجل قد أفلس فهو حق به من غيره. If a person, مثلا you borrow from me this laptop, then you go insolvent, then I enter your house, then I find this laptop. Do we say لا, we need that it will be sold, then we're going to give you the money. لا, because you find it. Okay? He hasn't yet consumed it. If this is the case, then you can take it. من وجد ماله بعينه عند رجل قد أفلس فهو حق به من غيره. The Prophet ﷺ gave you the title to take it. So that's what it had. There is a process of how to the asset recovery. How do we do it? We have 3 steps. This is all after the demand of who? The creditors. We can't act until they demand. طيب, if some of them يعني demanded, then we act in accordance. نعم, if it is partial, we act in accordance. وهذا اللي يسمى عندنا بالغريم المحاسب. يسمى لأن غريم نوعان, غريم محاسب وغريم غير محاسب. غريم يعني a creditor, either that he is holding accountable we call it. محاسب يعني he wants the due amount, or يعني the due assets. And there is another creditor who is not يعني demanding accountability. He does not want it. Okay, you say, okay, I don't mind. That if some of them, let's say that we have 5 creditors, whether they are individuals or corporates or governments, corporations or governments. If 2 of them demand, then we're going to act in accordance, in the percentage. So then, after we have the creditors demanding asset recovery, then we have 3 steps. First of all, the first thing we need to do is that to make sure that he is what? Insolvent. And within this step, in the process, he must how do you say this in English? He must act upon the demand accordingly. يعني ما يسمى بلزوم الغرم عليه, يعني لازم أن يلزمه الغرم. يعني he must act, يعني basically he must act according to the demand of the creditor, not in accordance with the demand of the asset itself. يعني مثلا, if the assets worth مثلا 50,000, and the creditors, the percentage will be مثلا 60% for John and 20% for Khalid and 20% for Abdullah. Okay? And both of them, all of them, in all of their capacity, they demand the recovery of their assets. Then what do? He must act in accordance with the percentage of each demand. We cannot mix them, then we go to divide. We're going to act in the percentage. يعني لابد أن يلزمه الغرم. هذا هو المعنى. So this is the first step. The second step is that that nobody finds his assets in of itself. Okay? يعني مثلا, he borrowed from him a tire, and he finds that tile. He didn't consume it. Yeah, it didn't change. The same as it is. The same as he borrowed it, the same it is. Then that creditor is given a priority over any other creditor. But then corporations, because this is what you usually have. If you have corporations here, but then big corporations, you go to their buildings, okay, and their offices, branches, and the creditors, they were responsible for the furniture and the furnishing their offices. They find what they provided but they didn't pay them back. They can get all of these. A lot of creditors would say, we don't want them. They say, it's not up to you, because they will get them and they are not know what they are going to do with them. They find it difficult, and if they go to sell them, they will sell them with loss, cheap. So, but there's no choice. But نحن نقول لزمكم الغرم وجدتم مالكم بعينه لم يتغير. As long as it is not changed, you're going to take it back. If it is used, if it is consumed, even it's by 1%. If it's only consumed by 1% of what it can give, the property or the asset, then we don't force them.
Like if it's an item, does that count if it shows signs of wear?
Yes, if it is like this, مثلا, it's used not the way that they took it, not the way that the debtor took it. And thirdly, we're going to go to enforce the recovery. We're going to enforce it, and we're going to make the necessary things for him to be with, مثل clothes, مثل housing. Like in his house, he might find not even a chair in his house, because it is he is liable. He's liable. And they demand, and it's their right. The amount is due. But if he is bankrupt, they can't demand. ولهذا الbankrupt is protected. Now, if you have corporations here, some of them that they go bankrupt to liquidate, some of them they don't go bankrupt. What do? They declare it, but they don't go bankrupt. But they declare it because they anticipate that the market won't reproduce for them. So what do? They declare bankruptcy. Why? Especially if they have good lawyers, because the government will do what? Bail them out. Because the government will bail them out. And the government thinks strategically. Because if we let them go bankrupt, like these big corporations, if we let them go bankrupt, who's going to be responsible for those people? The government. So say, okay, we're going to support you. So ضفهم احنا نقول. Vacuum them. Get them. Because if they work, what does that mean? They will pay us taxes instead of us taking care of them. Finding shelter, social benefits and all this stuff. Then you take care of them, we're going to bail you out, you're going to employ them, they will pay less taxes, hoping that the market will help you to recover. But sometimes those big corporations, they would like to have some mergers. They say that we will go bankrupt. We will go, and they will. A lot of if you follow Wall Street and Bloomberg, almost every 2 weeks you would hear about this. In order to get mergers, they say that within 6 months we're gonna declare bankruptcy. What's the purpose of this? Strategically, to get mergers. Okay, وهكذا يفعلون هذا في أمريكا. هذا
Sprint and T-Mobile.
في هذا اللي يسمونهم جونسون سبيريت. I think جونسون سبيريت هذه ما أبطت. هذه في أركنسا. merge. دائما هذا يحصل في أمريكا. Constantly. Because it is an easy strategy to get these mergers. And sometimes they don't want to have a lot of employers. In order not to increase the base employment, what do? They do the mergers. Then they reduce the benefits while increasing the capacity of the company. And then they will give you time to work مثلا part-time because of the mergers. Yeah. So they will have the more capacity of production and hence returns with less employment. That's what how they do it. And still the government won't pay you anything because you're still employed. You are employed. They do it. This is America. Yeah, this is America. If you don't like it, so what do you do if you don't like it? Get out of the system. This is how the game played. These are the rules. You need to know the rules here in America. If you know the rules and how to play around them, you will survive. But the problem is that here people, they don't, subhanallah, they are not that motivated. They look for jobs. They don't think that we would like to be our bosses. Me, I will be my boss, even if it's small. They don't think. A lot of people, why do you study? I want a job. It's very rare that you will encounter a person in the street, or if you go to these universities, even if you go to Harvard, Yale, Stanford, why do you study? Thinking that they will do their own. لا قليل. Why would you go to these universities? Because employment is guaranteed. They think that they will be employed. لكن المفروض أن الإنسان يفكر how to build my business or how to be my own boss, not necessarily my business مثلا my institute, education institute or whatever. المهم you are gonna be the one who is leading your own way بعد توفيق الله وعونه وتيسيره. مثل ما قال عبد الرحمن بن عوف, always this is the best example. عبد الرحمن بن عوف, he was about to give benefits. He was about to be given fund like a government fund. Because what was said to him? Sa'd ibn al-Rabi', he said that I have 2 wives. If you want, I will divorce one, definitely with her. Yeah, she will accept, definitely. And you will marry her. And half of my wealth, I will give it. And he was he was wealthy. He said, half of my wealth. I will give you half of my wealth. Can you do it here? Half of my wealth? That's what he was ready to do, radiallahu anhu. What did Abdul Rahman say? Barakallahu lak. Okay, you will give it now to me. For how long? Okay, so how long? Yani money will vanish, will go. So he said, Barakallahu laka fi malika wa ahlika. Dulluni ala suq. Where is the market? Where is the market? Then he went to Bani Qurayza, in the markets of the Jews. إلى بني قينقاع, to the markets of إلى بني قينقاع. Then in just a very short period of time, he returned, dressing very well, because he migrated, radiallahu anhu. He migrated. Do you know that some of the Sahaba, they migrated just covering their awrah, like Suhaib. They just covered their awrah. They had nothing. They left everything behind. Abd al-Rahman ibn Awf, he migrated with nothing. He didn't even have capital, just to begin with, from the scratch. Just a very short period of time, he returned dressing well. فرآه النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم وعليه رطخ من زعفران. Not only that he is dressing well, he had a perfume. فقال له النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم ما هي? What's going on? فقال رضي الله عنه تزوجت. I am married. He is able now to marry. فقال له النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم ما أصدقتها? What did you give as mahar? He said وزن نواة من ذهب. وزن نواة. النواة مثل الوقية, a nugget of gold. وزن نواة من ذهب. Then he صلى الله عليه وسلم said بارك الله لك أولم ولو بشاء. Make walima. Because he didn't make walima, radiallahu anhu. How did he صلى الله عليه وسلم know that he didn't make walima? Because it is expected that if he had made walima, he would have invited him. But هذا صلى الله عليه وسلم said أولم ولو بشاء. Immediately he said to him أولم ولو بشاء. The thing is that he went to the market and he changed. And then when he died, radiallahu anhu, the wealth that he left behind is unbelievable. They used to cut the gold that he left behind, just the gold, let alone the properties, وهكذا. إما عبيد تهنيد. He radiallahu anhu, only the gold, and it's not a naqd, not the cash, only gold. They used to rake it by axes to divide it amongst the hairs. رضي الله عنه. وعبد الرحمن هذا من الصحابة, من العشرة. He is already in الجنة. عبد الرحمن بن عوف الزهري, هذا كان من Umar. He made him amongst the people of Ashura, the 6 to be the caliphs, to be the caliph. هذا عبد الرحمن بن عوف. He is the one who was in charge of making sure who is going to be elected, chosen, علي or عثمان. عبد الرحمن بن عوف رضي الله عنه وارضاه. وما هذا, look, he was rich. Not rich, he was so rich رضي الله عنه. فإذا you need to rethink. هنا في الولايات المتحدة you need to rethink. You need to know the rules. This is how the game is. ولهذا مشكلة كثير what they call the minorities now, or people of color, or whatever you call them, هذولا, that they don't think this way. ما يفكر هكذا. ولهذا now even the white, you find a lot of people, especially in this generation, they are not even thinking this way. They used to be raised this way. لكن الآن لا. Just we need a job. Just they need a job. Like they used to think in business mindset. Yeah, to be their bosses, to be the investors. وسلم سيد ومن ستر مسلما ستره الله في الدنيا والآخرة. The one who protects a Muslim in this dunya, Allah will protect him in this life and in the hereafter. Now the protection is expressed in the Arabic satara, to cover the Muslim. Allah will protect him, will cover him in this life and in the hereafter. Now, what is a satr here? It means two things. Satr meaning that you cover his awrah. Awrah meaning anything that he does not know, that he does not want people to know about. This is what you call awrah. So you don't speak about things in his house. You don't speak about private things, secret things. You go so extreme. You cover everything. Okay? It's that's the first meaning. The second meaning is that you cover him with what? With the sins. Whether if he drinks alcohol secretly, if he مثلا he والعياذ بالله commits zina, or that he wronged his his parents or ما أشبه ذلك. So what do? You protect him, cover him. So now for the first one, it is obligatory in all times. Okay? You don't speak about things private about him. Okay? مثلا يعني we say all times except there is any need. But generally you don't speak about a believer in the things related to his private life, secret things, or he does not want people to know about. ولهذا if he مثلا he has some disease, you don't cover him, you don't speak about that, as long as he does not say to you that there is no problem. But many people, they don't know, they don't like people knowing about these, right? Or that he has some weaknesses. Then you don't speak about them. If you know, you just cover them, protect him. Now, as for the sins, then we have two types of people. We have people who are already known to be fasiq, unpious people. Okay, they will say they will drink, they will smoke in front of everybody. They walk with their girl friends in the streets. They don't care. They dance in the streets. They drink al-kuhul wal-iyadu billah. They shout at their parents even if there are hundreds of people. So they don't care. Those people, we speak about them. وهذا قال حسن البصري رحمه الله ما لي أراكم عنهم معرضين اذكروا الفاسق بما فيه حتى يحذروا الناس. Say, talk about the fasiq, expose the fasiq, so that people will be away from him. So we didn't say, well, don't judge. How we don't judge? We judge. We don't judge that person, we judge his actions. What you're doing is haram. What you're doing is wrong. We don't say, well, this is not wrong, you can do it. When he's stopped by the police officer, cut him the signal, say, don't judge. How? This is wrong. Legally, this is wrong. This is considered to be legally wrong. Islamically speaking, you are violating the laws. This is wrong. We don't say don't judge. Yes, you can do it. نحن لنا الظاهر. You might be in the sight of Allah is better than us. But what you gave us, the apparent, we deal with you in the apparent. Whatever, كما قال عمر رضي الله عنه. He said that during the time, during the time of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, we used to take you by revelation. And whatever the revelation will tell us, about us, about you, we will take it. However, now al-wahy is gone. So whatever you show to us, we're going to handle with you as the way you are appearing to us. So if we see you every night going to the bar, playing with women مثلا, or you go to the stock market and you use usurious transactions constantly, you say, don't judge. Don't judge. This is what you show us. Okay? If you do them secretly, this is between you and Allah Azza wa Jalla. But if you show it, say, don't judge. لا, ما يجي هذا. Does not work. Okay? يعني what do you think مثلا? What do you think now? A person is approaching your daughter. And he's knocking your door, smoking in your face. Bringing argila. He said, do you want to, with me? He said, well, I don't like it. He said, don't judge. Don't judge. What do you think? Is that acceptable? No, I judge. I judge. That's what you show me. That's what you show me. I don't know about you. That's what you show me. Are you lying? Is this not your real character? Or what I will judge you based on what you show me. I'm not, walking in the street, seeing any person, then I say, this is, that person is in the hellfire, that person is not. لا. What you show us, we're gonna talk about it. What do you show us? ولهذا the first type of sinners, those who do it publicly. Okay, like al-mubtadi', al-'asi, if he does it publicly, then what do? نحذر الناس منه. Because if you don't say negative things about it, then it will spread all around. Not only is it going to be harmful for that person, but harmful for the entire society, because it's going to be normalized. The second thing is that if he does it, if he does not do it publicly, okay, if he does not do it publicly, he والعياذ بالله, he commits zina, he does his transactions, he does things, but where? Secretly. Okay? هذا, what do? We cover him. Even if you see him. Aslan, if you see him with a woman, مثلا, can you say anything about him? You can't say. Because you need how many? You need 3 with you, or otherwise you're going to be lashed. So go and you say that I will forbid that which is munkar, bad, you're going to end up being lashed. Yeah. لأنه you'll be whipped, لأن هذا يسمى قذف. هذا قذف. فإذا عليك أن تستره. You cover him or her up. وهذا مهم جدا, especially amongst women. There are people مثلا نحن عندنا, they know about these stuff. They know this is actually their job, because they work in the familial consultations. But they know. Sometimes they know about wives or husbands. So what do? They cover it up. You immediately cover it up. ومن ستر مسلما ستر الله في الدنيا والآخرة. طيب, if that person commits, now the one who commits zina, or the one who drinks khamr, or والعياذ بالله he commits liwat, liwat? Homosexual, or lesbian, women with women, or the one who does things that will cause him to be mahdud, because lesbian, they don't have had. We have discretionary punishment. Okay? لكن man with man, في حد اللواط. Okay, so if he does it secretly, but that sin is what would entail had, specified punishment. Should he hand himself to the authorities so that the had is going to be applicable? So let's suppose that he stole, then he repented to Allah Azza wa Jal, and he will return the stuff. Should he go to a part of his repentance, to go to the authority and he says, this is what he did, apply the punishment. The majority of the ulama, they say no, cover yourself. That's why when Ma'iz radiallahu anhu, he came to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he committed zina, right? He was married. So when he came to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he said, "Oh Rasulullah, I did it." Then what did he sallallahu alaihi wasallam do? Go. He came radiallahu anhu from the other side. He said, "Oh Rasul, I did it." Then he sallallahu alaihi wasallam neglected him. Just go. Let's go. But he insisted radiallahu anhu. He came from the other side until he did it 4 times. Then he sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, asked his people, he said, is he crazy? This person crazy? Then they said, no, we know him. O Rasulullah. So then he sallallahu alaihi wasallam made sure that everything is okay, that this person is not, he is sane. And then he sallallahu alaihi wasallam, actually he asked him a very explicit question. Said it very, very candidly to him. And he said, yeah, he admitted. Then he radiallahu anhu, then the had was applicable to him. What happened is that when they stoned him radiallahu anhu ardah, he fled. He was not able to bear it. He fled. Jabir, he said that we chased him until he was killed. When the Prophet ﷺ was told, he said that had you lit him, it would have been better, lit him. But we deduced from this hadith, if while applying the had, the person, if he is the one coming to admit, not we have confirmed it, the one who admitted, if while applying the had he fled, we let him go. We just let him go. Because why? لأن هذا الحد يتدرأه الشبهة. He might have been, he might have fled because it changed his mind. Although it's very unlikely. But لأنك حد يدرأ بالشبهة. Okay, let go. A man came to the Prophet ﷺ في الصحيح. He said that, "Oh Rasulullah, I kissed a woman." He said, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, "Did you pray with the Salat al-Asr?" He said, "Yes." He said, "Okay, go. إن الحسنات يذهبن السيئات." Go. So he sallallahu alaihi wasallam used to cover. Okay, not لأن those who like al-fahisha to spread amongst the people are the hypocrites. They want it to be spread all around. Because they don't like it to do it, because they want to do it, but they find it very difficult to do it always secret. And if they do it in public, they feel weird. So they want everybody to do it, so that they will feel comfortable. Normal, don't judge. There is a huge difference here between doing something and you feel weird. You're not with the society. You don't go along. We don't like it. And something that is normal, we should accept it. We let children see these behaviors, and you don't need to say nothing. Okay? There is a huge difference. That's why corruption will continue. Corruption, wickedness, and piety will continue spreading because the society does not have the immunity now to reject it, to say, "No, this is wrong. We don't accept it," because it will continue getting worse. فهذا هو الحكم. Okay? فإذا الأصل, the default ruling is what? To cover. What's the reward? The Prophet ﷺ he said that Allah Azza wa Jal will protect you in this life and in the hereafter. ولهذا يا إخوة, you don't go chase, eavesdrop on people's cell phone. ولهذا الآن, the social media, you find sometimes they call it scandals. Every time you see these scandals, you are what? You're not covering your brother. ولهذا he صلى الله عليه وسلم said, "يا معشر من آمن بلسانه ولم يدخل الإيمان قلبه لا تتبعوا عورات المسلمين فإنه من تتبع عوراتهم تتبع الله عورته ومن تتبع الله عورته فضحه ولو في قعر بيته." He said صلى الله عليه وسلم, "All those who believed in their tongues but the iman is not yet in their hearts, don't go after the awrat, يعني the deficiencies, the weaknesses of the believers. Indeed, the one who does so, Allah will go after him. And anybody Allah goes after him, then Allah will expose him even if he is, inside his house. ولو في قعر بيتي, يعني even you close every door, you're going to be exposed. That's why you hear, يعني now, a lot of people, they say that we don't have a private life anymore. Part of the reason is what? This is punishment. Because you don't care about the private lives of others. Like, oh, do you know about the sister? Where did she go? What did she wear? Do you know about her husband? Do you know that she is, when she sits, she is a hypocrite? I know about her. Why do you expose her? Why? What did she do to you? Why do you behave like this? And then all of a sudden, bad news about her. Why is that? You've been exposed. Al-jazā'u min jinsil amal. As you sow, as you reap. As you sow, as you reap. هذا ما جنته يداك. This is what you took by your hand. فإذا ولهذا العرب تقول يداك أوكتا رحمك الله وفوك نفخ. يداك أوكتا وفوك. You are the one who tie the skin bag and you are the one who blew it up. So don't complain. That's the issue. ولهذا a lot of people now they say they wouldn't have a private life anymore. فإذا المهم we cover each other. Okay, we cover each other. ولهذا if you know something bad about your brother, do you say, I will let everybody knows? هذا bad. The one who does this, هذا a very bad person. هذا very, very bad person. ولهذا الآن you will find some people, especially during the time of disputes, if they know something about the opponent, they are so happy with it. They are happy in finding deficiencies. So what's the only difference between you and that person? Is that you are still covered. That's the only difference. ولهذا كان محمد بن سيرين رحمه الله يقول, if I see a person who is sinful, the only difference between me and him, I am mastur. That's the only difference. I am still covered. رحمه الله. ولهذا he used to say that, he said that, I swear by Allah, if sins had a smell, nobody would stay with me. I'm just covered by Allah. I'm just covered. That's the only reason you're sitting with me. Otherwise, nobody would even. وهذا كان ثوي. He said that, Wallahi, if people know about me, they will spit at me, at my face. Look how they look at themselves. So why do you go after people and you try to expose everybody? وَالْعِيَاذُ بِاللَّهِ. They call this scandal. Scandal. They are happy to find a scandal. Especially amongst politicians. They live on it. This is how they live on it. They think that if you export, especially if you are a politician, if you are a politician, you never did anything wrong. You are actually a politician because you did every possible wrong thing. Right? And then you would think that you have exposed your opponent now. You won't be exposed tomorrow. You're going to be exposed. A lot of things are actually saved. A lot of things are actually saved, but they are going to be utilized at the right moment from the other side. فإذا الإنسان ما يتتبع عورات إخوانه. It's actually a very bad habit. A very bad habit. ولهذا now to work for the intelligence community, they look for people they have bad. They bad. Generally speaking, not necessarily for every day. Some of them that they want to be beneficial. The Prophet ﷺ used to have spies. لكن مثلا, what's your job? It's just to go after people. It's my job. حتى أنا أذكر أحد الإخوة كلمني يقول he was detained by a person who was going after him. He didn't do anything, but they for political reasons. So they detained him for about a week, then they let go. فيقول, I said to the one, وعيب عليك يا أخي. يعني what's your job? يعني you say يعني your children when they grow up, you say our father is doing this, our grandfather used to do this. He said because he graduated from Cambridge. He said that he said to me, he said that this يعني person, he said to him, now you have graduated from Cambridge and all of this stuff. How much do you get? He was in Kuwait. How much do you get? He said 500 dinars. 500 dinars. He said that, look, I barely have diploma and middle high school. How much do they give me? He said 5,000. 5,000. If they want me to go after my father, I will do it. He will go. I will go after my father. Yani it would equal by dollars. They give him around 50,000. 50,000. They let them live comfortably so that whatever that they are commanded to do, they will go. They will do. And sometimes they need also that they to trap them in something so that they will be like dogs. المهم, it's just to eavesdrop at people on people, and you know what's just to go after people, had a very bad habit, a very bad psyche. That person has a psychological problems. He's sick. Sick. He needs to go to the psychiatrist to see what's the problem. فالمهم إذن علينا أن نستر إخواننا, يستر بعضنا بعضا, and يغبي بعضنا عن بعض. You don't expose people. You're not happy to find your brother committed himself, even if you have an opponent. ولهذا the personal things you put them aside. If you have a dispute with someone, it's between me and you. Personal stuff, you don't talk about them. The moment that person does it, this is min akhlaq ahl al-nifaq, because this Allah said, وَإِذَا خَاصَمَ فَجَرْ. If he has a dispute, then he will have wickedness, fujur. He will transgress, and one of the transgressions is that he will talk about مثلا your personal stuff that he knows about you, then he will speak about it. هذا من أخلاق أهل النفاق. نعوذ بالله من هذا. طيب, we stop here and we're going to continue inshallah in the following sessions بعون الله تعالى وتيسيره. Yes, يا أمير.
If you find out about a sin somebody was trying to cover, do you say something to them or do you leave it?
It depends on the situation, but part of covering it is that you don't let them know that you know. خلاص, move on. نعم, ستره الله تستره. Allah protected him, covered him, just keep it this way. نعم.
Sometimes people.
أنا أذكر بعض and I'm saying this because a lot of people taught me about this. In the universities, a lot of things going on, right? Everybody knows that. We don't like ushered put in our heads and a lot of things, and I've been informed about a lot of things. You don't go talk about it. We saw it like this, we saw it like this. Lakin, if you know someone who can solve this problem or help solving it, you can consult him. But you don't go say that, well, we have this in our community, we have this in our community. You don't do that. At least it is still what? Covered. Alhamdulillah, people are not courageous. They are not, they are not yet vulgar enough to be careless. Covered, because if you expose it, then it will be normal. خلاص, because they are already exposed, so they will do it. So they used to go beyond walls and enter bathrooms and هكذا, right? If you do it, then okay, خلاص, now we have already been exposed. We will do it in the streets, like those do it, right? فإذا علينا أن نحذر من هذا. Yes. You're about to ask? Yeah.
Yeah, the punishment between the gays and lesbians is different.
Gays, the punishment for them, the Sahaba agreed that they are, once this is established by 4 witnesses, then it's capital punishment. The Sahaba agreed. But they have differed how it is done. Okay? As for lesbians, the punishment is discretionary. Yani it's up to the judge. Sometimes, the punishment is just to rebuke. Or sometimes the punishment, مثلا, one lash. It's, discretionary, it depends. But then they are ولهذا يا إخوة, one of the most important things also. The Prophet ﷺ said, أقيلوا ذوي الهيئات عثراتهم. If we know a person who is righteous and he committed a mistake, okay, he did it. Then what do? We let it go. But let's suppose that you have discovered a person who did it several times. مثلا, he goes with this girl and he goes with another girl, and you say that, don't do it, and he keep doing it. Okay? Now you can, in order to fix him and also to protect our girls from him, from this guy, okay, I can expose him, especially if you warned him. Now, because of the harm that he is doing to the society, so we need to prevent this evil. واضح؟ لكن if a person, especially righteous, like a judge مثلا, or a sheikh, or a righteous person, he could commit a mistake. Then he's not saying, I will tell everybody about you. لا. في حديث عائشة رضي الله عنها, he says صلى الله عليه وسلم, أقيلوا ذوي الهيئات عثراتهم. ولهذا, part of a sitter, before it reaches the government, before it reaches the judge, okay, you can have what we call intercession, شفاعة. Before it goes, مثلا, a person who does something wrong, we have 4 witnesses, مثلا. Before it goes to the judge, you can intercede. But after it reaches the judge and they establish the case, you can't intercede. ولهذا قال النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم, أتشفع في حد من حدود الله? Do you intercede in the implementation of the punishments of Allah, and the specific punishments of Allah? ولهذا, we try our best. One of the things that we protect is to intercede, especially if he is, we know that it is the first time that he did. Like مثلا نحن عندنا teachers, they are protected. في المحكمة, if he is a teacher, school teacher, he is definitely protected, لأنه من ذوي الهيئات, because he is قدوة, he is an example for people. Well, now it's not that anymore. لكن he used to be. To some extent. الآن يا إخوة, the teacher needs to prove himself to be example. Before it was societal a given thing. And he needs to prove himself. He needs a lot of effort, because the young, they have a lot of influences. لكن still, if he is الآن نحن عندنا, أنا عندي كثير من الطلبة وأعرف كثير من القضاة. If he is the judge, the law and النظام gives him more space. مثلا, we know مثلا, let's suppose that this teacher, مثلا, let's suppose that he beaten his one of his children so badly. Okay? Now it's going to be considered. Okay, we try to fix it, we ask for some rehabilitation. Okay, not to implement the law. Okay? Because he is a teacher, and it is the first time. We don't want to harm his reputation. You call it here reputation damage. Okay? يعني those person needs to be protected up to an extent. يعني in order to maintain the cohesiveness into society. Because those people are qudwa. If he is a teacher and you imprison him, once he gets out of jail, then he goes to school. Our teacher, came from jail. How is going to, influence the youngsters? So you are thinking about the generation, the next generation. فالمهم, generally speaking, we try our best to protect society. The Prophet ﷺ said, كل أمتي معافى إلا المجاهرين. He said that all of my ummah is protected, except those who do it publicly. Those who do the sins publicly. And then he says, ﷺ, and one of the things that a person will do things publicly is that he will continue he will stay the night, or he will stay the night doing haram things, and when he wakes up he will speak about it. So he was covered. If you do it privately, you were doing it privately, okay? Nobody knows about it. Why do you expose yourself? That person, he ﷺ said that he won't be mu'afa, he is not going to repent from that sin, because it is for him normal. It's so normalized. He is ready to do it publicly. Because still, if that person, the believer, won't do the sins publicly, he feels, because his shahwa will overcome. He will continue doing them privately. But if he is a believer, he finds it very difficult to do it publicly. Or publicly. Even generally speaking, a person needs to protect himself and to protect others. To cover himself and to cover others. طيب؟ نعم. نعم.
If there was someone or a group of people that meet the sufficient number of witnesses, and they see something that has a head, for example, lashing, is it better for them?
Cover it. Unless that person, then they cut him. Now, this is the third time. Especially if they warned him. So what he's doing, that person, is playing around with the private parts of our sisters. He is dangerous. He needs to be stopped. So what do we do? Which is very rare situation to find four. But if it happens, then they can do it. Or if he sees him stealing. If he sees him stealing, he said, okay, now I know about you. Please return what you took, and everybody will be silent about it, and leave and don't do it again. Right? This is what you should do. But let's suppose that you catch him for the fourth time. Then what do? It's to protect him from doing it one more, and also to protect society, because this is dangerous to society. He needs to be punished. Because if you warn him, it turned out to be not effective. So it continued to be harmful. أنتم عندكم هنا, he needs to be jailed up. So what? Just to jail him. No. Some people, they steal because they are hungry. So they will steal so that they will be in jail, so that they will be fed. Well, sometimes if you are in the federal prison, it depends. Sometimes you'll be dealt with like a slave, by the way. Sometimes. But then after 5, if you don't work, you work for some corporations freely, so that they will give you food after 5. Sometimes. But it depends. The thing is that you look, al-asl, you cover him up, unless otherwise needed. If there is a need to expose him, that's what we're going to do. نعم يا عمر. What?
Is it an authentic name?
الصديق.
Sittin, like Sotul, like.
أي نعم لا الستير. نعم الستير. نعم عندنا حديثان. And it's an authentic name for Allah Azza wa Jal, because we have 2 hadiths. Hadith, one of them is that إن الله حي ستير يستحي من عبده إذا رفع يديه يردهما صفرا. هذا حديث. And it's ستير ليس الستير. الستير. Why? Because all the names of Allah they come with this wazn. They don't come with التشديد. مثلا تقول بصير, عليم, خبير. You don't say عليم, خبير, بصير. You say بصير, عليم. So ستير, not ستير or ستير. هذا صحيح. مثل ما ذكر ابن الأثير. مثل ما ذكر ابن الأثير. Okay? وذكره قبله, يعني one of those, يعني those who also talked about it before, أبو عبيدة قاسم بن سلام in his book غريب الحديث. And Ibn al-Athir al-Jazari, he had a book called النهاية في غريب الحديث والأثر. Also he mentioned about this. وهذا هو الصحيح. You say الستير, you don't say الستير. وياك. Okay? That's all. الحمد لله. في عون العبد ما كان العبد في عون أخيه. The Prophet ﷺ said that Allah will be with the help, support of his servant, in as much as he is in the servant and help of his brothers, in the service, help of his brothers, support of his brothers. This would include any type of help, as long as you are with him. Meaning that he needs constant support, and you're going to be with him. ولهذا قال ما كان العبد في عون أخيه. It means that he is going through a difficulty, and it's constant difficulty. So it's not just once, but he's going through a difficulty. So for example, he's struggling with mathematics, and you can help him with this. It means that you will meet him every day, you will meet him every other day, and you will teach him. You are with the help of your brother, so that Allah Azza will be with the help of you. Subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah will be with you to support you, help you, facilitate services for you, and so on and so forth. So any type of help, and the needed things for your brother are of two types: either to be worldly or to be spiritual or religious. In both cases, if you are with the help of if you're helping your brother for worldly gains, for worldly issues, or for religious, spiritual issues, Allah will be with you. Definitely, the later is better than the former. So, not only that you are helping him with food, physical things, and so on and so forth, but also you are helping him with his religious needs. مثلا, a new Muslim, he needs to learn how to pray, how to make wudu, the basics about Islam. If he still has some doubts about Islam, you remove them. All these are what? Services. You are helping him. So Allah Azza will be in the help of you in achieving your religious goals, ambitions, and so on and so forth. Allah will be with you subhanahu wa ta'ala. ولهذا قال والله في عون العبد ما كان العبد في عون أخيه. كما قال تعالى هل جزاء الإحسان إلا الإحسان. And cooperation is absolutely very needed, especially on the organizational level. Cooperation, helping each other. One of the most important struggles, or one of the most common struggles that Muslims go through in terms of their masajid is what? نعم, lack of cooperation. The financial support, kadar support, okay, to find people to administer, manage the organizations. So then you go and help. So if you are good at financial management, you can go to your brothers, say, I can help you. You don't say, for how much do you give me? لا. You do it for the sake of Allah. والله في عون العبد ما كان العبد في عون أخيه. So you didn't say that we need someone to lead us for a tarawih. You say, okay, I will do it. How much? أعوذ بالله. هذا ما يصلي وراه. لما واحد راح يقول أعوذ بالله من يصلي خلف هذا. He said, I seek refuge in Allah. Who do pray? Who should pray? how? Who would pray behind this? يعني how can you pray behind هذا? He's saying how much. هذا من يصلي وراءه؟ ما يصلي وراءه. فإذا يعني you do it for the sake of Allah سبحانه وتعالى. You help أن تعين إخوانك. A person looking for a job, you help him. يا أخي help him. Try your best to the best of your ability. Subhanallah, those who are they help others. They help others. Those they are going to be يعني beneficiary for the ummah. You see that Allah Azza wa Jal will, that one of the major reasons between a alim to be يعني his knowledge to spread around and the other one is not as much, is that person was what? Helpful for the ummah. يعني he's يسعى في حوائج المسلمين. He's trying his best to do it for the benefits of the ummah. So that Allah Azza will bless his knowledge, even if it's not compared to the other person, يعني as at the same level. لكن Allah تعالى يبارك فيه. So then it is important أن تكون في عون إخوانك. And also now, one of the most important things that are needed now is to find jobs and to find wives, because people are struggling here. يعني it's really a burden عندكم. يعني if you want to find a wife, maybe some people need years to find a wife. Like what? يعني why is that? Why is it difficult? Why والعياذ بالله haram? It's next door. So you help your brothers with this. Also you help your brothers with the family. يعني مثلا they need sometimes to travel, but they are struggling with the kids. So you can say, okay, I can take them for 1 day, 2 days, especially if if you have a relationship. Why do they need to leave them with a babysitter and all of this stuff? ليش? We help each other. If this is possible, that's what you should do. Not just live your life and I live my life and nobody cares about the other. The only relationship between us is that if I see you in the masjid, I say Assalamu alaikum. Is this how we cooperate, help each other? يصلح. فإذا علينا أن we should help each other. الله في عون العبد ما كان العبد في عون أخيه. Spiritual things or worldly things. طيب, then he said ومن سلك طريقا يلتمس فيه علما سهل الله له به طريقا إلى الجنة. The Prophet ﷺ said من سلك طريقا يلتمس فيه علما. Whomever seeks a path for acquiring knowledge, Allah will make it easy for him, will make a path easy for him to Al-Jannah. Now, what does that mean? He said, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, man salaka tariqan. This would include both الطريق الحسي, يعني tangible path, and also intangible path. يعني the tangible path, يعني you walk, you drive, you fly, okay, seeking knowledge. Or الطريق المعنوي, you seek it in what way? Studying, summarizing, memorizing, discussing, and so on and so forth. All of these are what? Paths in seeking knowledge. Allah Azza wa Jal will facilitate it will make Al-Jannah for you easier. In what way? In multiple ways. First of all, Allah Azza wa Jal, as you seek knowledge, Allah will increase your knowledge. يعني if you seek path of knowledge to know this, Allah Azza will lead you to know even more. Because the more you know, the more that you will reach Al-Jannah. Because the more you know about the names of Allah, the attributes of Allah, His Sharia, His reward, His punishment, the more that you're going to get closer to Allah. Because you know more. There is a difference. Now, let's suppose that a person does not know that, مثلا, saying Subhanallah wa bihamdih 100 times, تغفر لك ذنوبكم كانت مثل زبد البحر. If a person does not know, he won't act because he does not know. So if you know more, it means that more deeds are going to be implemented. Also, سهل الله له بطريق إلى الجنة, meaning that Allah Azza wa Jal will help you to act upon it. If you seek knowledge for the sake of Allah, then you will act upon it. ولهذا كان السلف يقولون, one of the most important measurement that you know that you're seeking knowledge for the sake of Allah or not is you see yourself. Do you act upon it or not? If what you know you act upon it, this is a sign that you're seeking for Allah. If you don't act upon it, النية has some problems. ولهذا two things. مثل ما يقول ابن رجب رحمه الله in his book فضل علم السلف على علم الخلف. He said two things that a person will know that he is seeking it for the sake of Allah or not. First, كما كان السلف عليه. First, do you act upon it? كما يقول علي رضي الله عنه العلم يطلب للعمل فإن أجابه ويرتاح. We seek knowledge to act. If there is no action, then there is no knowledge. The ignorant is actually better than you. The second thing is that you see yourself. Does it increase your modesty, your humbleness? هل أنت تواضع أو لا? The more you are knowledgeable, the more you are humble. If you see yourself, the more you are knowledgeable, the more you are arrogant, it means that you don't seek it for the sake of Allah. لأن العلم يجعلك تتواضع لعباد الله. Knowledge will make you humble to truth, humble to people. If you say yourself that you seek knowledge, and the more knowledgeable you become, the more arrogant you become. والعياذ بالله. It means that there is a problem with the intention. Okay, so then من سلك طريقا يلتمس به علما سهل الله به طريقا, meaning that you will act. Allah will help you to act. Also, من سلك طريقا يلتمس فيه علما سهل الله له به طريقا إلى الجنة. It means that on the day of judgment, he will be guided to his way towards the Jannah because of his knowledge. Also, سهل الله له به طريقا إلى الجنة. He will be able to differentiate between the priorities, when to worship this particular worshiping, and when not to do it. How do you know about this? By knowledge. Like what I said, you're going to be able to differentiate between the obligatory and the preferable. The obligatory, is it obligatory only in you, which we call it fard ayn, or obligatory that is communal obligation? طيب, if it is transitive or qasir, intransitive, is it more preferable during this time, or it is not preferable during this time? Now, how is it going to be helpful for me? In softening my heart, getting me closer to Allah Azza wa Jal, than just doing it. These are all, ya ikhwan, all acquired by what? Knowledge. وَلَهَذَا سَهَّلَ اللَّهُ لَهُ بِهِ طَرِيقًا إِلَى الْجَنَّةِ. So then when he ﷺ said, سَهَّلَ اللَّهُ بِهِ طَرِيقًا إِلَى الْجَنَّةِ, it will include all of these. Also, one of the things that we deduce from this statement that he ﷺ said, مَنْ سَلَكَ طَرِيقًا يَلْتَمِسُ فِيهِ عِلْمًا. Man, this is general, it's a mawsul, right? سَلَكَ طَرِيقًا. طريقًا is what? نكرة. في سياق what? في سياق الإثبات, فتدل على العموم. So then any methodology, there is no specific methodology. Like, a lot of people say, he comes to you and say that وش أفضل منهجية لطلب العلم? What's the best methodology to study knowledge? There is nothing as what's the best methodology. All what we can tell you is our experiences, our observations, but not necessarily to be applicable to everybody. Yes, there are principles, but the specificities, what books you study, how long, how do you take the explanation, and so on and so forth, this is different. It depends on the students, it depends on the circumstance you are in, it depends on the one who is delivering the explanations, and so on and so forth. But generally speaking, there are principles everybody must maintain for seeking knowledge. Method, gradually. يعني graduality. This is E principle. You don't take things as whole. You need to seek it gradually. مثلا, you need shaykh. You can't do it alone. You need shaykh. هذا principle. Also, that that you need time. You need time because you don't receive it as revelation. It's not revelation. Even if you are the smartest person ever existed, you need time. You need time. Nobody sought knowledge without time. So it's not just because you attended this program, you will end up what? A scholar. You need time. Okay? Like these principles, لكن how they are implementable, there are general practices, general methodologies, common methodologies, but it is not necessary to be applicable in every detail to you. ولهذا قال الله تعالى بل الإنسان على نفسه بصيرة. That's why صلى الله عليه وسلم said من سلك طريقا يلتمس فيه علما سهل الله له به طريقا للجنة. Then وما اجتمع قوم في بيت من بيوت الله يتلون كتاب الله ويتدارسونه بينهم إلا نزلت عليهم السكينة وغشيتهم الرحمة وحفتهم الملائكة وذكرهم الله من عنده. The Prophet صلى الله عليه وسلم said وما اجتمع قوم, no group of people come together in a house of the houses of Allah, meaning in a masjid. يتلون كتاب الله, they recite the book of Allah, meaning the Quran. يتلون كتاب الله ويتدارسونه فيما بينهم, and they study it with each other. يتدارسونه بينهم إلا نزلت عليهم السكينة. Then he mentioned 4 rewards. إلا نزلت عليهم السكينة. السكينة will descend on them. إلا نزلت عليهم السكينة وغشيتهم الرحمة. Then they will be covered with mercy. They will be surrounded with mercy. They will be circled with mercy. وذكرهم الله وحفتهم ملائكة. And the angels will surround them. The angels will surround them. وذكرهم الله فيمن عنده. And Allah will mention them amongst those whom are at Him, meaning the angels. So now let's go over what he says sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. He said وما جلس قوم في بيت من بيوت الله. Now as him sallallahu alayhi wa sallam saying في بيت, those who sit in the house of Allah, we say that this is not قيد وإنما هذا قيد أغلبي. Why? Because we have it في صحيح Muslim by Abu Sa'id al-Khudri radiyallahu anhu. He said وما جلس قوم, without saying في بيت من بيوت الله. So whether that they sit in the masjid or they sit in other than the masjid, in the streets, in their farms, in their houses, in their markets, their stores, wherever they in school, in university, wherever they are, if they come together and they recite the book of Allah. وإذا قال وما اجتمع قوم في بيت من بيوت الله. Now him sallallahu alayhi wa sallam saying قوم in the Arabic language is usually used for men, but it does not exclude women, because Allah says يا أيها الذين آمنوا لا يسخر قوم من قوم عسى يكونوا خيرا منهم ولا نساء من نساء. So it means that the قوم are men and the nisa يعني قوم is men. But here when he says قوم would include both men and women. So this ruling is not only applicable to men, definitely, it's also applicable to women. He says عليه الصلاة والسلام وما جلس قوم في بيت من بيوت الله يتلون كتاب الله. They recite the book of Allah. Now, what does this reciting mean? We take it as it appears. They come together, then they recite. يعني مثلا الآن نحن we are sitting, then we recite. You recite هكذا. Okay? Not necessarily that we are in a circle, but we are coming together, then you recite وهكذا. There is another way of reciting. What is it? We ask one of us to recite and we listen. Okay? Is that included in this? Yes, we say that Umar radiallahu anh used to ask Abu Musa al-Ash'ari to recite and they would listen. Or they would ask Ubay ibn Ka'b to recite and they would listen. So it means that we say, مثلا, Amir, please recite. And we listen. هذا الصحابة رضي الله عنهم فعلوا. Now, afterwards, the people of Sham, they invented al-halaqat. And this happened during the time of Abu Darda. Abu Darda رضي الله عنه, Uwaybir ibn Zayd al-Ansari. He used to do in the masjid of Damascus, he used to put people into circles. Circle, 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 circle. وهكذا. Then he would appoint a person to teach them the Quran. Okay? And they would recite to him. And he will be sitting observing. If they need anything, any help, they will refer it to him. Abu Darda radiallahu anh, he is the one who began what we call al-halaqat. Okay? So this is one way of جلس قوم في بيت من بيوت الله يتلون كتاب الله. Then afterwards, the people of Sham, not the people of Medina, they had a habit of coming together. Okay? And then يعني everybody will recite. يعني مثلا you recite one ربع وهكذا. They used to do it. The people of Medina, especially Malik, they used to consider this what? Bid'ah. To do it this way, this bid'ah. They say that ما عهدنا الناس كذلك. يعني people in our masjid, they never did like this. يعني to come together and everybody would recite. لكن نحن نقول the people of Sham did it. And Abu Darda radiallahu anh, he used to do something similar. So then there's no problem of sitting in the masjid without, saying that it is legislated in this way. يعني if we just do it, you recite مثلا والربع, 1/4 مثلا حزب ما في مشكلة. طيب what about one reciting and the others repeat? ما في مشكلة. مثلا we say يلا مثلا طاسيم ميم, then you طاسيم هكذا. هل نفعل ذلك؟ هذا ما اختلف فيه السلف. The people of Medina, again, they would consider it to be bid'ah. The people of Sham, they say that it is bid'ah, لكن it's bid'ah لا ما يسمونها بدعة حسنة. يقولون هذا بدعة يعني من جهة العمل. يقول هذا بدعة لكنه من جهة العمل. هذا ما اختلف فيه السلف. Now, we say if it is for the purpose of teaching people, there's no problem. As long as you don't harm others. لأن النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم قال لا يؤذين أحدكم أخاه بالقرآن. Hadith ibn Dawud. He says صلى الله عليه وسلم, you don't raise your voice. He صلى الله عليه وسلم once got out of his house and he found people reciting the Quran, and everybody reciting the Quran, but they used to raise their voices. So he صلى الله عليه وسلم said لا يؤذين أحدكم أخاه بالقرآن. Don't bother your brother by raising your voice in reciting. الحين النبي داود إسناده جيد. Okay, so then as long as we don't harm يعني people, we can do it, whether we are in the masjid or outside of the masjid. هذا كله جائز. طيب, also يتلون كتاب الله if you are alone. If you are alone, is that reward going to be included? لا, because he said وما اجتمع قوم. Two people enough. وما اجتمع قوم في بيت من بيوت الله. Then he said ويتدارسونه بينهم, and they study it. Okay, they study it. Now, what does that mean? يعني what does studying it mean? It means two things: to study its utterances, and secondly to study its meanings. So not only reciting, if they sit, then they study the utterances. I mean, how is this? And studying its utterances would include two levels. studying the utterances to utter it correctly. The second level is that to study the utterances, it means that you study the recitations, يعني al-qira'at, the ways of performing it. Okay, so one is to make sure that you have tajweed, what we call it tajweed, and a tajweed also has two levels, one that is obligatory, one that is preferable. التجويد نوعان as opposed to ابن الجزري. التجويد هو عنده يقول والتجويد حتم لازم من لم يجود القرآن آثم. He said that التجويد is obligatory. الصحيح that we have two levels of تجويد. ما هو التجويد؟ هو إعطاء الحرف كل حرف حقه ومستحقه. This is what we call a tajweed. يعني you pronounce correctly. This is the first level. The second level is what? الإدغام, الإقلاب. This is what? Highly preferable. We don't say that it is obligatory. As he says that that if you don't do it, then you are sinful. يعني مثلا, if someone says من بعد ما أراكم ما تحبون, he said من بعد ما أراكم ما تحبون. He didn't make إدغام للنون الساكنة. He didn't say من بعد. هذا نقول he is not doing the preferable, but we don't say that he is sinful. But if you say من بعد ما أراكم ما تحبون, لا, هذا wrong. لا يجوز له هذا. He must correct his recitation. So then we have these two levels of. So then يعني ويتدارسونه بينهم, either that they make tadarus, that they study the utterance or they study the meaning. Studying the utterance is of two levels, or of two types. Studying the utterance in terms of correcting the recitation, which is a tajweed. Some of it is obligatory and some of it is preferable. If it is, however, and the second type is to learn the types of recitation. قبل, قبل, مالك يوم الدين, مالك يوم الدين, الصراط, الصراط, الزراط. These are also, you learn the types of recitations. You can recite by the 10, you can recite by the 3, تسمى التسديس, تسبيع, تثمين, تخميس. يعني how many recitations do you have? Okay, you have قارئ, you have الرواية, you have الوجه. Okay, you have قراءة بالرواية, then you have الوجه. Okay, فهذا كله يتعلم. This is in terms of the utterances. The most important thing is that يتدرسون what? The meanings. Meaning التفسير. التفسير, which would include البلاغة, eloquency, the grammar, the meanings. واضح؟ هذا كله داخل في قوله ويتدارسونه بينهم. Then he said عليه الصلاة والسلام, then they are going to be rewarded for 4 rewards, 4 gifts, 4 prizes. نسأل الله من فضله. نزلت عليهم السكينة. السكينة will come down on them. And what is السكينة? السكينة, it means tranquility. Where is it? In the heart. In the heart. ولهذا قال تعالى هو الذي أنزل السكينة في قلوب الذين آمنوا. The heart. Have you ever saw people reciting the Quran in the proper way, and they're dancing and مثلا jumping up? لا, they are tranquilized. But if you go to a church, the more you are having khushu', the more you dance. Right? You see that? And they are big churches. The more they get into a state of khushu', you find them what they're doing. Shouting and dancing. Oh yeah, Jesus. Okay, right? You see, أنا أقول يا أخي, is this the way to worship Allah? يعني is this? Do you believe that Jesus worshipped God this way? Do you believe that he would do like this? But then, how did he worship God? He prostrated. He put his forehead on the ground, like in Timothy. He put his forehead on the ground. Abraham, he put his forehead on the ground. فإذا يعني that tells you that what they recite is not from God. Like those, if they recite, what happens? That you find the sakina, tranquility, peace of mind. ولهذا it's يعني سبحان الله العظيم, even non-Muslims, even if you don't tell them that this is religious book or religious speech, or just let them hear it, or you yourself recite it. What do you find? Tranquility. You don't even understand Arabic. You don't tell them what this is. Why you find that they go into tranquility. ولهذا قال عليه الصلاة والسلام إلا نزلت عليهم السكينة, in their hearts, peace of mind. ولهذا if you feel sometimes that you are in fear, what did Allah say? ألا بذكر الله تطمئن القلوب. What's the best dhikr? The Quran. So recite the Quran, you see unbelievable tranquility, peace of mind. نم فالحوادث كلهن أنام. نم فالحوادث كلهن أمان. You feel that, well, I will sleep, everything will be secure, everything will be safe. كلهن أمان. فالقرآن له تأثير. It has a huge effect in bringing about tranquility. ولهذا صلى الله عليه وسلم said نزلت عليهم السكينة. Then Allah says, then the Prophet صلى الله عليه وسلم said إلا نزلت عليهم السكينة. Then he said وغشيتهم الرحمة. Mercy will cover them. Mercy will cover them. Meaning that they will have mercy on each other, and the mercy of Allah will be on them. So if you see people, coming together, and they are reciting the Quran, do you see that you say, get out? Or you see that they are have a mercy over each other or on each other, at least in that setting, right? Matter if someone comes late, everybody will have his place. If one of them, they feel that he has some need, physical need, financial need, you will find that they are ready in that situation to help, right? فإذا النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم يقول وغشيتهم غطتهم, they will be covered by mercy. It means that they will have mercy over each other, and the mercy of Allah Azza wa Jal will be upon them. لأن الراحمون يرحمهم الرحمة. And then he said وغشيتهم الرحمة وحفتهم الملائكة, and then the angels will surround them. حفتهم الملائكة, they will circle them. And how do they do it, يا إخوة? How do they do it? The angels, يا إخوة, as it is reported in Sahih. The Prophet ﷺ told us بالحديث الطويل إن لله ملائكة فضلا عن كتاب الناس يسيحون في الأرض. He ﷺ said that there are angels created. What's their purpose? What's their work? They, hover all over the ground, all over earth, looking for people coming together to remember Allah. Then if they find it, then they will call each other. And then يحفون بهم. Okay? And when they will circle them, then each one of them will be upon the other. Okay? هذا جناحه على, the wings will be on each other. Do we believe in that? Wallah, we believe in it. Wallahi, we believe in it. Because the one who said it is the most truthful person ever. That's what he said, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And then until they reach the heavens here, but because Allah enables them, because they are created from light, so they can do it. بأمر الله, بقدرة الله. Allah قدرهم, Allah enabled them to do so. And then when they go to Allah Azza wa Jal, Allah will ask about His servants, and Allah knows why, in order to show their honor, their status. Then Allah will ask about them. He said that, how did you find my servants? They say that we find them remembering you, mentioning your name. They say that, did they see me? He said, La, oh Allah, they didn't see you. If had they seen you, they would have increased their remembrance and mention of you. Then, as the hadith goes, the thing is that يعني حفتهم الملائكة. ولهذا كان أسيد بن الحضير when he recites the Quran رضي الله عنه he used to recite Surah Al-Kahf. He said that while I was reciting Surah Al-Kahf, the more that I recite, I see a sahaba like a cloud. It gets under الصحيحين, it gets so close of me. When I stop reciting, it will stop. When I continue reciting, it will go down to the extent that because it went too down, my khayl, my horse, was going back. يعني صار يذهب ويجي. يعني it goes يعني يتحرك الخيل هكذا. So when he woke up in the morning, he went and he told the Prophet ﷺ what happened. He said, those are the angels. هذه السكينة, هذه الملائكة نزلت. So then the الملائكة will come and they will surround those people. And then he ﷺ said, وذكرهم الله في من عنده. Allah will mention them, meaning by their names. By their names. في من عنده يعني في الملائكة. في الملائكة الأعلى. As Allah says, فاذكروني أذكركم. So يعني imagine هذا يا إخوة. الله عز وجل, Allah تبارك وتعالى الذي بيده ملكوت كل شيء. Have you ever يا إخوة seen the universe? How they imagine it? You see how it is? How it is great. This is only one sama, as we know it. Allah Azza wa Jal on his throne above the 7 heavens mention you by your name while you didn't even equal a molecule. Not even a molecule. Not even in the size of a molecule. Allah will mention you by your name. فلان ابن فلان. فلان محمد. Abdullah, Umar, Saleh, Khalid, Talha, by your name. You know when Ubay ibn Ka'b, he was approached by the Prophet ﷺ, he said that Allah sent me to you asking you to recite Surah Al-Bayyinah. He said, Oh Rasulullah, Allah mentioned me by name. Allah mentioned me by my name. He said, yes. فبكى رضي الله عنه. Allah mentioned me by name. If you want that, just one of the rewards is that Allah Azza will mention you by your name. Subhanahu wa ta'ala. Not amongst people, humans, amongst the angels, by your name. What a reward, ya ikhwa. Wallahi, it's a huge reward. فلذلك then, when he said, وَمَا جَلَسَ قَوْمٌ فِي الْبَيْتِ مِنْ بُيُوتِ اللَّهِ, we should all be eager to attend these majalis. We call it majalis al-ilm wal-iman. Majalis al-dhikr, to stay in the majalis of al-dhikr. There is hadith, it says إذا مررتم برياض الجنة فارتعوا. قالوا يا رسول الله وما رياض الجنة؟ قال حلق الذكر. But it's weak. It says that the Prophet ﷺ said, if you pass by the gardens of al-Jannah, then harvest. Then it was said to him, what are the gardens of al-Jannah? He said, Hilaq al-Dhikr, the circles of dhikr, remembering Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So it is highly encouraged that you attend these sessions regularly. They will soften the heart. They will get you closer to Allah. They remind you about the deen. It has a lot of benefits. But even a person should attend these places. ولهذا, now, the classes that you attend now, are they included in him saying وَيَتَدَارَسُونَهُ بَيْنَهُمْ? Yes, because they are going to help you to understand the Quran. Either that you study the Quran, the meaning of the Quran directly, or you study the sciences that will help you to understand the meaning of the Quran. So in both cases, you are actually studying the Quran. فنسأله سبحانه وتعالى يعلمنا وإياكم ما ينفعنا وينفعنا بما علمنا ويزيدنا علما وعملا. Yes. عمل لم يسرع به نسبه. عندك زيادة هذا بعضهم ذكره وبعضهم ما ذكره. So the Prophet صلى الله عليه وسلم said ومن بطأ or ومن أبطأ به عمل لم يسرع به نسبه. How he translated this? من أبطأ به عمله, the one who is slowed down by his actions. Yes, by his lineage. يعني, as Allah says, إن أكرمكم عند الله أتقاكم. The most, what is إن أكرمكم عند الله أتقاكم? How do you usually translate it? Huh? The most noble amongst you in the sight of Allah are the righteous, the pious. So we don't care about your ethnicity, your color, your name, your school you graduated from, your nationality. Nobody cares about this in the sight of Allah. Are you righteous or not? This is how a person is given the priority in the sight of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So then, even if you come, say that I am Abu Lahab. Do you know who is Abu Lahab? He is the uncle of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He's from Banu Hashim. It's the Abati min Quraysh. We worship Allah by saying تبت يدا أبي لهب وتب. He's في الذؤابة من قريش. طيب, what about Bilal? We say he is our master. سيدنا Bilal. What about Salman? He is Persian. يقول النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم لو كان الإيمان في الثريا لناله أقوام من هؤلاء. If the Iman is in Polaris, if Iman is there, it will be chased by people like those. And he mentioned to Salman, and people from Persia. So, إن أكرمكم عند الله أتقاكم. You're white, black, أحمر, أسود, أخضر, أصفر, people of color, people of no color, whatever. You are human, appreciated in the sight of Allah if you are righteous to Him, if you are pious to Him. ما ينفعك your lineage. So يعني مثلا now some people say, if you meet them, they say that أنا من أهل البيت, and it could be, they might be true, but they don't pray. مثلا, so you don't pray. Do you think that the Prophet ﷺ is going to help you? The Prophet ﷺ won't help you. What did he say to his daughter Fatima? He said, يا فاطمة بنت محمد سليني من مال الله ما شئتي لا أغني عنك من الله شيئا. Ask me from my money whatever you want. I won't help you on the sight of Allah. لا ينفع حتى فاطمة. Then he said, يا عباس بن عبد المطلب يا عم رسول الله سلني ما شئت لا أغني عنك من الله شيئا. Oh, the uncle of the Prophet. He addressing عمه al-Abbas. He said, ask me whatever. I won't be helpful in the sight of Allah as well for you. Meaning on the day of judgment. If you die as a disbeliever, nobody will help you, even the Prophet ﷺ. حتى النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم. ما ينفعك. لا ينفعك إلا عملك. Your actions. ولهذا يعني your lineage is not advantage, nor it's disadvantage. Your lineage is just, we know who you come from. It does not benefit you, nor it harms you. الذي ينفعك in the sight of Allah Azza wa Jal is your good deeds. Like you saw those nationalistic attitudes. I am proud of my heritage. Well, if we tell you what your heritage is, it's horrible. It's horrible. So you should be proud of what? Of the good deeds of your heritage. If you have people who are like, يعني كما قال جرير يقول أولئك آبائي. يعني مثلا, if a person wants to be proud of his grandfathers, they need to be what? Righteous. If that's the case, then you can be proud of that. طيب, let me ask you الآن إن شاء الله, and we'll finish with this. Okay. Now, when the Prophet ﷺ during the battle of Hunayn, when people fled, then he ﷺ went to face the army himself. He said, أنا النبي لا كذب, أنا ابن عبدي المطلب. Was he proud of him? Was he ﷺ proud of Abdul Muttalib who died as a disbeliever? No. What did he say sallallahu alaihi wasallam? If you wanted to be If you want it to be with a religious status, that I am courageous because I am a Nabi la kadib. If you want it to be from worldly perspective, from worldly consideration, Ana ibn Abdul Muttalib, right? So then he was not, sallallahu alaihi wasallam was proud of that. He is telling about a fact. Then you don't come and say that I am proud to be such and such. I am patriotic. I am such and such. So okay, everybody is patriotic, and everybody. يعني مثلا I am proud of my country. You're proud of what? Of what? If you are proud of things that are good in the sight of Allah Azza wa Jal, yes. If not, it does not help you in the sight of Allah Azza wa Jal. You are proud. هذا يسموه هذا اللي يسمى عصبية الجاهلية. حمية الجاهلية. I am proud of my nationality. هكذا. هذه الجاهلية. This is how the Arabs used to be. They come under the flag. Which flag? The flag of the tribe, the flag of the family, the flag of the land. To be proud of the flag of Islam. If your country is doing good, you are proud of the things that they did good. In terms of what? In the sight of Allah Azza wa Jalla. This is the measurement. You don't come and say, well, because I am from this ethnicity, I am from this land, I'm from this country, I am from this heritage. Nothing will benefit you in the sight of Allah Azza wa Jalla but the good deeds. فنسأله سبحانه وتعالى يجعلنا وإياكم من المتقين له في السر والعلن إنه جواد كريم. الله أعلم وصلى الله على محمد وعلى آله وصحبه. If there are any questions, or we will leave, inshallah. No.
Off topic, how should we handle moon sighting versus the population?
You handle it by following the group in the same location you are in, that they follow in the site. Okay? If they go, so as long as they go with the site, you follow them. No.
Sheikh, in the question of combination of prayers, say if a person came from a long travel, but from that point on, he's like a resident at that point. But if they're, say, jet lag or something like that, does he have the license to combine, knowing that if he doesn't combine the prayers, he might sleep through the rest of them, if it's after a long travel?
So he knows that after a long travel, so he feels so tired, and it is time of al-Maghrib. So if he does not combine Salat al-Isha, that it is very likely for him that he won't wake up till Salat al-Fajr. If this is the case, and he's sure about it, then he can combine. But it needs to be very tired. Okay? No. Okay, not the tiredness that I'm tired, I don't feel comfortable. La, really tired. And he barely prays Salat al-Maghrib. He might even fall. Okay? No.
In regards to Jahan and his teacher Ja'ad, is it true that I've heard, is it true that the sources of their beliefs, of Ja'ad's beliefs, came from Christianity?
Al-Ja'd ibn Dirham, he took it from a Jew. As for Al-Jahm ibn Safwan, he took his beliefs from Al-Ja'd, but the cause of his deviation is that he met a group of Indians from the Sanskritis, Sumniya he called. They said that do you believe in your God? He said yes. He said, did you see him? He said no. He said, did you touch him? He said no. Did you smell him? No. Did you taste him? No. So they said, how do you believe in him? Then he was confused. He stayed for 40 days not praying into Jama'ah. He was isolated. Then after 40 days, a shaitan revealed to him a solution. Then he went unto them, then he answered them. He said, do you see your mind? They say no. Do you smell your mind? They say no. Do you taste your mind? They say no. So, do you have a mind? They say yes. They say, okay, now you believe in your mind, even if you don't see it, you don't touch it. Okay. So how he believes in Allah, he believes in the abstract. Okay, not something actual. Okay? So he's not talking about the brain. Everybody can, the brain, you can see it. But the mind, he said that do you believe that you have consciousness? Do you believe you have mind? He says yes, even though that you didn't see it. But he ended up affirming the existence of Allah as abstracting. That's why he went to negate the attributes of Allah in addition to the names. Okay? Dalal. He didn't go to the book of Allah, to the Sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ to solve what they asked. Where did he go? He isolated himself so that a shaitan revealed to him the misguidance. Now,
Ahmadis and what you call it? The Ahmadis masjid in your area. Obviously, what you pray.
لا, you don't pray by him. Ahmadis are not Muslims. Qadianis, they are not Muslims. ليسوا مسلمين. They deny that which is known by necessity from Islam. They believe that Mirza Ghulam Qadiani هذا, Mirza Ahmad, Sahib, they call him, Sahib Ghulam. They believe that he is a prophet after Allah. He is the Messiah, and they believe that he is Isa, by the way. He's the one, not Isa. Isa, he won't come back. He is the one because his name is Ahmad. هذول ليسوا مسلمين. نعم. القادياني ليس مسلم. فلا تصلي معه.
How about the Shia?
The Shia, they have a lot of different sects. Generally, if he is Imami, Ja'fari, they هم مشركون. لا سيما if they are من العمائم, they are scholars. هذول ليسوا مسلمين. As for the Ammah, the default rule is that they are still Muslims. The default rule, not for every individual. This is the general thing. As for each individual case, they are different. Right.
So you can pray in your masjid.
Behind Shi'i, after Ammi, you go to different masjid. لا تصلي معه. نعم.
You know, when you mentioned Shia, you mentioned like the Shia narrator.
إذا كان فيه فيش.
When you mentioned the Shia narrator and you clarified that this is someone who just does tafdeel of Uthman wa Ali.
أي لا, we're not talking about this type of Shia. This is gone الآن.
Did the Rafida exist at the time of those type of?
أي نعم, they existed.
And the Shia of the.
Yeah, Al-Rafida, they existed during the time of Zayd ibn Ali. Zayd ibn Ali ibn Hussein, the one who's Hisham bin Abdul Malik killed. He actually crucified. Zayd ibn Ali, because he revolted against him, a group of people in Yemen came to him and they said that reject Abu Bakr and Umar. And he refused, radiallahu anhu, and he made taradhi, and he said radiallahu anhuma. So they rejected him. Since that, they are called Rafida, rejectors. Rafida rejectors. That's why they are called Rafida, meaning that they reject Abu Bakr and Umar. They insult them, sometimes they consider them to be disbelievers. It depends on how extreme that sect is. But the moment that you see a person speaking badly, negatively about Abu Bakr and Umar, you know that he's Rafid. That's the measurement. واضح يا أمير? If you find a person and say that Abu Bakr and Umar bad, هذا رافض. If he insults Abu Bakr and Umar, he's Rafid, definitely. Even if he does not believe that they are disbelievers. واضح؟ نعم.
There is a hadith that says that whoever recites 10 ayahs before going to sleep would not be considered from the Ghafilin.
من الغافلين، نعم. هذا في الصلاة، لكنه ويك، هذا الحديث ضعيف. هذا أخرجه الترمذي رحمه الله في الجامع وغيره. ولهذا عندنا في المذهب the least amount for a person to be considered praying صلاة الليل is to recite 10 ayah. Taking this hadith, but this hadith is weak. هذا في صلاة الليل. Not before you go to bed, في صلاة الليل. If you pray during صلاة الليل. If you if you pray with a with a hundred ayah, then min al-qa'imin. If you prayed with a 1,000 ayah, then من القانتين. لكن هذا حديث ضعيف. نعم. طيب وفق الله الجميع وسددكم لما يحب لما يحبه يا الله إنه جواد كريم. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.